The freedom of simplicity, living authentically. The true freedom of simplicity lies in finally being able to live according to our authentic values, without excessive concern for others' opinions or social standards that never truly resonated with us. It's as if, after decades of wearing social masks, we've finally found the courage and wisdom to show our true face to the world. We no longer need to wear uncomfortable clothes to impress people we barely know, frequent places we don't enjoy just for social status, or maintain empty relationships out of convenience or social pressure. Maturity gives us permission to be genuinely ourselves, and we discover this authenticity is far more attractive than any performance we could create. This authenticity is profoundly liberating. We wake up in the morning and choose how to dress, based on our true comfort and personality, not the latest trends that may not suit our lifestyle. We decorate our homes according to our personal taste and with objects that tell our story, not what magazines dictate as elegant or modern. Simplicity allows us to focus on who we truly are and want to be, rather than wasting precious energy trying to meet others' expectations. It's a return to our center, to our essential self that may have been obscured during years of hustle, responsibilities, and external pressures. It's a reunion with our own essence. We discover the freedom to say no without guilt, and yes, without fear. No to what doesn't resonate with us. Yes to what makes our eyes light up. This conscious selectivity isn't selfishness but self-preservation and self-respect. We have the right to choose how we want to live our golden years. We live more lightly, because we no longer carry the weight of external expectations that were often contradictory and impossible to satisfy. Our choices are truly our own, based on accumulated wisdom, our deepest values, and our unique understanding of what makes us genuinely happy. Simplicity teaches us we don't need to prove anything to anyone. We've already proven enough throughout life, raising children, building careers, overcoming challenges, accumulating experiences. Now is the time to simply be, without the constant pressure to do or achieve more to validate our existence. This is the true reward of a simplified life, the freedom to be authentically who we are, without apologies or justifications. It's being able to look in the mirror and recognize the person we've always been inside, who may have been hidden under layers of expectations and social obligations. We discover that simplifying isn't about losing, but about finding our essence, our inner peace, our genuine joy. It's realizing we've always had everything we needed to be happy. We just had to remove the excess to see the inner abundance that was always there, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. The freedom of simplicity allows us to write the final chapters of our life story exactly as we want them to be written, with authenticity, purpose, lightness, and the serene wisdom of those who finally understood what truly matters in human existence. We've reached the end of our conversation, but I hope this is just the beginning of a new journey in your lives. The path of simplicity isn't a one-size-fits-all recipe, but an invitation for each person to discover their own version of a lighter, more meaningful life. Remember, you don't need to make all the changes at once. Simplicity is a gradual and gentle process. Start with small steps, perhaps organizing a drawer or choosing to spend an unhurried afternoon simply contemplating life. Every object released, every unnecessary commitment declined, every moment lived with full presence is a small victory on the path to freedom. Simplicity isn't about having less for the sake of less, but about making space for what truly matters to flourish in our lives. You've already walked so many paths, overcome so many challenges, and accumulated so much wisdom. Now is the time to harvest the fruits of that experience by living with more lightness, more awareness, and more self-love. I hope today's conversation has planted some seeds of reflection in your hearts. If this content was helpful to you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more conversations like this. Until we meet again, may you discover more each day the beauty that lies in life's simplicity. A warm embrace to all. Home. As sanctuary, clear spaces, clear mind. In maturity, our home can become a true sanctuary, a space that reflects our deepest essence and consistently nurtures our inner peace. When we remove the physical excess accumulated over decades, we create not just more room to move physically, but also more mental clarity to think, dream, and simply be. Each area can have a clear purpose and intentionally chosen objects that tell our story and nourish our soul. A living room with only the essential furniture we actually use, and a few carefully selected items that make us smile whenever we see them. Perhaps a cherished photo, a plant we tend with care, a book that marked our life. The bedroom can transform into a true refuge for rest, free of unnecessary distractions and full of genuine comfort. Soft sheets that embrace us at day's end, gentle lighting that soothes us, a pleasant temperature that fosters restorative sleep. This sacred space of rest deserves our special attention. Cleaning becomes easier, even pleasurable, when there are fewer objects to move, fewer surfaces collecting dust, fewer crammed drawers to organize. 15 minutes of daily tidying maintains harmonious order, freeing precious time and energy for more meaningful activities. The house breathes better, and we breathe better within it. We realize we don't need to impress visitors with elaborate decor or expensive furniture that doesn't reflect our personality. A clean, airy, and genuinely welcoming space speaks for itself and invites people to feel at home. Well-tended plants that bring life and oxygen, natural light connecting us to daily rhythms, and comfortable furniture we actually use create far more warmth than any decorative excess. Every corner can have its specific beauty and purpose. A reading nook with a cozy chair by the window, a meditation space for quiet contemplation, a small altar or special table with spiritually inspiring items, a candle, a sacred image, stones collected on memorable journeys. These sacred spaces within our home nourish us daily without costing a fortune. They're investments in our well-being that pay off in every moment of peace they provide. A home's true wealth lies not in costly decor, but in how it makes us feel when we return. When our external home reflects our inner peace, it becomes a constant support for our emotional and spiritual well-being. We arrive home after a day out and immediately feel our shoulders relax, our breath deepen, our mind quiet. This is the true luxury of residential simplicity, creating a sanctuary that restores us daily. A simplified home also lets us welcome loved ones more fully. Freed from concerns about clutter or excess, we can focus completely on offering our presence and attention. Hospitality flourishes naturally in organized, serene spaces. Simplified finances, spending with intention. Financial simplicity and maturity doesn't mean living in scarcity, but spending with awareness and purpose. Every dollar invested should bring us true joy, utility, or meaning. It's a quiet revolution in our relationship with money. Built on decades of learning what truly matters, we discover many past impulse purchases were attempts to fill emotional voids. The clothes bought to feel younger, decor items we thought would convey status, unused equipment. Now, with greater self-knowledge, we can ask before buying, am I purchasing this object or the happiness I imagine it will bring? Truthfully, happiness doesn't come wrapped in packages. It springs from inner peace, healthy relationships, and our ability to appreciate what we already have. When we internalize this wisdom, financial decisions naturally become simpler and more intentional. Fewer credit cards, fewer installments, fewer financial complications. Paying up front within our means brings a sense of freedom and control. No installment plan can match, even if it means waiting longer for certain purchases. There's special dignity in owning what we buy without debt. Simplifying finances also means reducing unnecessary bureaucracy, fewer bank accounts, fewer overly complex investments we don't fully understand, less accumulated paperwork. Choosing financial institutions that treat us well with clear, honest services matters more than chasing the highest returns. Investing in experiences over objects becomes a natural priority. A simple trip to visit distant relatives, a course, and something we've always wanted to learn. A special dinner with loved ones at a meaningful restaurant. These memories stay with us forever, appreciating over time, unlike objects that depreciate and become obsolete. Generosity simplifies and purifies too. Instead of expensive, hastily chosen gifts, we offer our time, attention, and presence. An afternoon teaching a family recipe, helping solve a practical problem, or simply listening wholeheartedly. Often these are the most valuable gifts we can give or receive. We also find joy in living within our means without feeling deprived. There's elegance in knowing exactly what we can spend and consciously choosing where to invest each dollar. This financial clarity frees us from constant money anxiety, letting us focus on what truly matters. Living well with what we have, time is wealth, cherishing each moment. In youth, we believed we had infinite time ahead. We made plans for decades later, postponed important conversations, delayed hugs we could give today. In maturity, we discover time is our most precious and finite asset. This awareness shouldn't sadden us, but inspire us to live each moment with greater intensity and intention. Our perception of time transforms when we understand its true nature. A minute lived with full presence is worth more than an hour wasted in anxiety about the future or regret about the past. This is one of maturity's greatest lessons, the art of fully inhabiting the present moment. We no longer need to fill every minute with activities to feel productive or valuable. There's extraordinary richness in seemingly empty time, moments of contemplation, of doing nothing specific, of simply existing and observing life unfolding around us. These are often when we receive our deepest inspirations and insights about ourselves and life. We learn to say no to activities that don't nourish us, no matter how productive they might seem to others, or even to our own conditioned minds. Our productivity now measures by the quality of our experience, not the quantity of our achievements. A day of true presence is infinitely more valuable than a week of mechanical task completion. Simple moments gain special value when we recognize their preciousness. Watching clouds shift across a blue sky, listening to music that touches our heart and transports us to cherished memories, petting an animal and feeling their unconditional gratitude, sensing winter sunlight warm our face. These experiences cost nothing monetarily but are priceless. For soul nourishment, time dedicated to self-knowledge and reflection shifts from luxury to vital necessity. Understanding our own thoughts, desires, limitations, and potential becomes life's most important investment at this stage. Like finally, meeting ourselves after decades of external hustle. Every meaningful conversation becomes a treasure. We've no patience left for small talk about weather or empty gossip. We want to discuss dreams, fears, hopes, and memories that shaped us. We want to truly know the people we choose to keep close and be known in our authenticity. Time management becomes the delicate art of balancing necessary commitments with spaces of freedom. We learn to create buffers between activities, avoid overloading our schedule, and protect sacred moments just for ourselves. This guardianship of our time is an act of self-love and respect for our journey. Emotional minimalism, letting go of hurts and resentments. Just as we accumulate unnecessary objects throughout life, we also collect emotions that no longer serve us. Old grudges, stored-up resentments, sorrows we carry as if they were treasures. Emotional minimalism invites us to do a deep, liberating inner cleansing. Holding on to resentment is like keeping a broken piece of furniture that only hurts us when we bump into it. No matter how much it cost or how long we've had it, if it only brings us pain, it's time to let it go. Forgiveness isn't a gift we give to those who hurt us, but a liberation we offer ourselves. Often, we find ourselves carrying fears and anxieties about situations that never even happened. What if worries that clutter our minds like weeds in a garden? Emotional minimalism teaches us to pluck these weeds, one by one, with patience and kindness. Emotional simplification also means learning to say, "This hurt has served its purpose in my life. It taught me, strengthened me, but now I can release." Declutter. It's recognizing that we can honor our past without carrying its wounds forever. When we clear our inner emotional space, we make room for lighter, more nourishing feelings. Gratitude, serenity, compassion, and joy find space to flourish. Our capacity to love and be happy expands naturally when it's no longer competing with the weight of stored emotions. The process is gradual and requires self-compassion. Some days we let go more. Other days we simply need to be gentle with ourselves. But every small step toward emotional lightness is a victory worth celebrating. Mindful eating. Fewer dishes, more flavor. Our relationship with food also transforms when we embrace simplicity. We don't need elaborate meals with 20 ingredients to nourish our body and soul. Often, the simplest dishes are the most flavorful and memorable. A ripe tomato with a drizzle of olive oil and a pinch of coarse salt can be more satisfying than a sophisticated dish eaten in haste. A homemade soup made with care surpasses any expensive meal consumed without attention. Simplicity in eating reconnects us with true flavors and the genuine pleasure of food. Cooking becomes an active meditation. Chopping vegetables calmly, feeling the texture of ingredients, watching colors change over heat. Each gesture performed with presence turns cooking into a moment of peace and creativity. Fewer ingredients, but of better quality. Less rush, more savoring. Less quantity, more awareness. These simple choices revolutionize our relationship with food, and consequently, with our own bodies. We discover we don't need to impress anyone with complex dishes. True hospitality lies in offering food prepared with love, even if it's just tea and cookies. Kindness is the most important seasoning in any recipe. Simplified technology, using less, living more. Technology should be our ally, not our master. In maturity, we learn to use only the digital tools that truly add value to our lives, discarding those that complicate, stress, or make us feel inadequate. It's a quiet revolution against simplifying human relationships. In maturity, we learn a valuable lesson about relationships. Quality surpasses quantity in every way. We don't need an address book full of superficial acquaintances when we can have a few true friends who nourish our souls. Simplifying relationships means having the courage to distance ourselves from people who drain our energy. Those encounters that leave us exhausted, conversations that always revolve around gossip or negativity, social obligations we fulfill out of mere duty. Life is too precious to waste on connections that don't lift us up. On the other hand, it also means investing deeply in the relationships that truly matter. That weekly phone call with a decades-long friend, the monthly lunch with a sister, the honest conversation with a spouse about dreams and fears. These authentic connections are like well-tended gardens. The more attention we give them, the more they bloom. Relational simplicity also teaches us to say no, kindly but firmly. We don't need to exhaustively justify why we can't attend every event or accept every invitation. A simple, "Thank you for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it," is enough, and honest. When we simplify our social circle, we discover we have more time and energy to truly devote to those we love. Conversations grow deeper, shared. Moments become more meaningful, and our capacity to love and be loved expands naturally. The beauty of simple rituals. In the rush of youth, we often overlook the magic in small daily rituals. Now, with more time and wisdom, we can rediscover the extraordinary pleasure found in life's simplest actions. Making breakfast can become a meditative moment. The aroma of coffee beans, the sound of boiling water, the steam rising from the cup. Each gesture performed with presence and intention transforms an ordinary task into a sacred act of self-care. A morning shower is no longer just about hygiene, but becomes a moment of renewal. The warm water running over your skin, the scent of your favorite soap, the quiet minutes before facing the day. Small luxuries that cost little but mean so much for our sense of well-being. Watering plants, feeding birds, writing a few lines in a journal, taking a contemplative walk. These simple rituals create a loving structure for our days, anchoring points that connect us to the present moment and our own essence. The beauty of these rituals lies precisely in their simplicity. They don't require expensive equipment or elaborate preparations. They only need our mindful presence and the decision to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary through loving attention. Fewer commitments, more presence. For decades, we rushed from one commitment to another, believing a full schedule meant a full life. Maturity teaches us the opposite. An emptier calendar can mean a richer existence. Fewer commitments don't signify laziness or isolation. They mean consciously choosing where to invest our limited, precious energy. They mean having the courage to decline uninspiring invitations so we can fully embrace those that make our eyes light up. When we free our schedules from excess, we create sacred space for spontaneity. That unexpected chat with a neighbor, an afternoon devoted to a forgotten hobby, extra minutes in bed listening to birds sing. These unplanned moments are often the most memorable and nourishing. Full presence is a luxury we can only afford when we're not always rushing to the next. Commitment. It's savoring a meal completely, truly listening to what someone is saying, genuinely feeling the wind on your face during a walk. We discover that doing fewer things, but doing them with full attention and intention, is infinitely more satisfying than checking off an endless to-do list on autopilot. The quality of our experience multiplies when we reduce the quantity in our schedules. Today, we're going to talk about something that can completely transform your life after 60, the extraordinary power of simplicity. How many times have you found yourself looking at your home full of objects and feeling an inexplicable weight in your chest? Or wondering why, even after achieving so much in life, you still feel like something is missing? The answer may lie in the opposite of what we've always thought, not in having more, but in having less. Today, we'll explore together how letting go and embracing simplicity can bring a unique lightness to our mature souls. We'll discover that reducing excess, prioritizing what's essential, and living with greater intention isn't just an aesthetic choice. It's a true act of freedom, especially in this golden phase of life. So prepare a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's begin this journey toward a lighter, more meaningful life. The art of recognizing what's essential. Over the years, we've developed a precious wisdom, the ability to distinguish what truly matters from what is just noise. At 60, 70, or 80, our experience teaches us that not everything that glitters is gold, and not everything we've accumulated in life brings us true happiness. The essential isn't found in drawers full of objects that might be useful someday, but in those simple moments that warm the heart. A shared breakfast, a phone call from a dear friend, a sunset admired from the window. These are the riches that take up no physical space but fill our souls completely. Recognizing the essential is like learning to see with new eyes. It's realizing that a stack of old magazines doesn't bring us knowledge. It brings anxiety. It's understanding that owning 30 pairs of shoes doesn't help us walk better, but may trip us up in life's own closet. Maturity gifts us this clarity. The essential is rarely found in things, but always in experiences, relationships, and the inner peace we cultivate. When we learn to identify these true treasures, we naturally begin to let go of what only weighs us down. Material detachment. Freeing yourself from the weight of things. Remember when we were young and thought happiness lay in gathering, storing, accumulating? Well, life has taught us that true wealth lies in knowing how to let go. Material detachment isn't about becoming poor, it's about becoming free. Look around your home. How many objects there truly serve your current life? That wedding china you never use, the clothes that haven't fit in years, the books you've already read and don't plan to revisit. Each of these items carries an energetic weight, a silent responsibility that consumes our attention and mental space. Detachment is a gradual and respectful process. It's not about getting rid of everything at once, but gently asking, does this object still make sense in my life today? If the answer is no, then perhaps it's time to let it find a new home where it can truly be useful and appreciated. Every organized drawer, every closet freed from excess, is a step toward lightness. It's as if we're removing layers of heavy, coats we no longer need to wear. The home becomes more airy, easier to clean, more welcoming, and we, its inhabitants, breathe more easily.